Welcome back to Retirement News Online. I'm Kari Osep, and let's talk about taxes, shall we? Well, when it comes to tax-efficient retirement planning, few strategies are as powerful or as misunderstood as Roth conversions. And a great advisor should be able to explain not just what a Roth conversion is, but when, why, and how to use it to best benefit people. And that's where Max Collins out of LA comes into play, because he's going to break it all down for us today. So Max, thanks so much for joining us.
Of course.
Yeah, and let's start with this. How do you determine the right timing for a Roth conversion based on my current income, future tax expectations, and RMDs?
It really boils down to a year that you may make less than what you're accustomed to making, and then comparing that to the IRS federal income tax brackets. So, for example, let's just say, the 22% tax bracket as a single individual is up to an income of $100,000. Now, that's not the exact one, but let's just use that as an example. And you yourself, you make $80,000 that year. Well, the big thing with Roth IRA conversions is you never want to push yourself into a higher tax bracket, because when you convert your traditional IRA, your 401k, your SEP IRA into a Roth IRA, you have to pay those taxes at that time of conversions. You'll be produced a 1099 the following year, and you're going to want to make sure you pay those taxes. So the importance is understanding where the top tax bracket is of the tax bracket you're in, and what income you make as a single filer, or maybe married, filed jointly. And the difference in that amount is what you would actually want to convert in that year, so you don't push yourself into a higher tax bracket. And you're just going to benefit from the future gains of that now Roth IRA. Even though you have to pay the taxes now, you now are growing your investments tax-free. And so at the time of withdrawal, in the future, you're going to be thanking yourself.
Absolutely. And what planning tools or tax projections do you use to estimate long-term tax savings versus converting later?
So you really want to understand the ability of what your investments can make first, because when you convert your traditional IRA over to a Roth IRA, you're then going to benefit from the growth of that investment, because all of that growth in earnings are then going to be tax-free at withdrawal. So it really depends on what type of investment you're in. So if you're mutual funds, ETFs, annuities, what is the growth potential? And the planning tools that we would use is as simple as like a compounding interest calculator. Let's say you Roth convert, $50,000, and you think it's going to make about 7% each and every year. We can then put that into a compounding calculator and then see that it will double over the next 7 to 10 years. And at that time, when we see the earnings on the investment in the future projections, we can then compare that to if you did not do that Roth conversion, and how much taxes you would have to pay on the traditional IRA in that future in that future projection. So we'll use tools in our agency. We use tools like the compounding interest calculator, also our retirement timeline, to understand what other incomes that you'll have, because whether it's Social Security, whether it's your defined contribution plan, defined benefit plan, all of those are brought into consideration for your income at retirement, and can increase your tax bracket when receiving that income. So we'll not only use the compounding interest calculators to project your future earnings in your investments, but we're also going to tie that into your other retirement income, as far as like your pension or Social Security.
So Max, how do you help clients manage the tax impact of a conversion, especially when avoiding IRMA penalties or what they know as bracket creep?
Yeah, those consequences really come on the later end of retirement, once you start to actually get into retirement and start kicking on those incomes. Roth IRA conversions can help for that future consequence, because There's something like called provisional income, and use how they calculate your Social Security. I'm going to use that as one example. And if you're taking on income from your pension, Social Security, but also your investable income from like a traditional IRA, SEP IRA, things of that nature, that all gets added to your provisional income in determining how much taxes that you're actually going to have to pay. And if we're able at an earlier time in life to convert them over to a Roth IRA, we can avoid a lot of unnecessary taxes in retirement when you're receiving the Social Security and when you're receiving your pension. This also, helps with Medicare related instances. You turn 65. Many people will enroll in Medicare Part A, which is free, but Medicare Part B. Medicare Part B premiums are actually based off of household income, whether you're a single filer or a joint filer. So if you are receiving income from a traditional IRA or your SEP IRA, any tax deferred incomes, if you're receiving income from these positions, it's going to increase your income, which could put you into a position of having to pay for a higher Medicare Part B premium. So structuring your investments in Roth IRA conversions can allow you to get the same income in retirement, but it's not going to be added to your provisional income. It's not going to be added to your modified adjusted gross income.
Thanks so much, Matt, for your time, and thank you all for watching us right here on Retirement News Online.